women. I just wanted to give you a little bit of encouragement because I think it's important, like holistic women, I'll get into who we are, what we do, but we have been an organization in this area we're going into our third year.
All right.
And I remember coming into sometimes events like this and be like, you put your hard work, your blood, your sweat and tears into something and you want to see it a certain way. And sometimes we can get discouraged by what we see, not realizing that God has a bigger plan. So even in, I'll put this one, okay. So even with, thank you. So even with, not seeing what you see in your head in the natural, just know God got a plan.
That's right.
He has a plan. So this is, for us, like I said, year 3, we are now, we started out with just eight women who decided I want to be whole. And then from there, we done grew in less than 2 years to a network of in-person women who support our events at over 300 women.
Yeah.
We have a global community of over 1,000 women, and we are at the point where we have to stop registration on our events. So I just want to be an encouragement to you and just let you know, look, you're doing the right thing. Keep striving, keep believing, keep working, because they're watching. They're watching. So, what does it mean to be whole? Can anybody tell me, when you hear that, what does that mean to you? What does it mean to be whole?
Happy, healthy, and healed.
Anybody else? There's no right or wrong answer. Y'all not going to fail.
At peace with yourself and your life's decisions.
Yes, I like it. I love it. So I'm sorry. Grounded.
To be able to love yourself.
Oh, come on in here. And the child shall lead them. So holistic women, it stands for women healing and overcoming life experiences.
Yeah.
So in order to be a holistic woman, you have to understand that there's going to be some healing and some life experiences that you have to overcome in order to become your best self. And a lot of times people don't understand the most important factor in your business is you. So before you can get all the business strategies and the financial wealth and begin to go out here and build a business, you have to understand who you are as a person at first. You have to understand what you possess, what you have, and who you are. So a lot of times we want the get rich quick scheme, or we want to go into these companies and we want to be Fortune 500 business owners without putting in the work. Because when you get the wealth, do you know how to manage it? When you get on the platforms, do you know how to articulate the goal? When you have a staff, do you know how to pour in and to lead people? So before we can become business owners, we have to become self-owners. We have to understand who we are, what we possess, and what we have. And in order to do that, I'm not going to be before y'all long, but in order to really get to the next level in your business, whether it's a service-based, whether it's ministry, whether it's leadership, whether you are in corporate America, you're climbing the ladder. Whatever your next level of just elevation looks like, in order to be whole, you got to be committed to conquer. So you have to be committed to conquer. To conquer means to have overwhelming victory. What does your life look like when you walk into the next stage of your life? Conquering. What areas of your life do you need the overwhelming victory in? So before you can take the next step, you have to assess where you are, see where you want to go, and take the necessary steps to get there. So I'm not just going to leave y'all with a bunch of talk. So I'll give you strategies of how to really to apply this to your life. So the 4 strategies to conquer, you got to have confidence.
Yes.
You have to have confidence. You have to believe in yourself, because how you see yourself is how other people will experience you. So if you see yourself as a little kitten, then that's all people going to experience you as. But when you really are a big lion, I'm a Leo too, so I can relate to that. Do you see yourself as a lion, or do you see yourself as a afraid little cat? Your confidence is everything. Because even if you may not have you may not be the best business owner, you may not have the best product, you may not have the best service, but if you go in there and you believe in that thing and you sell that thing with what you believe, you can make some moves with that.
That's right.
It's all about how you believe in yourself and how you see yourself. You have to have confidence. The second thing is you have to have clarity. You have to know where you're going. It's not just enough to have sight. It's not just enough to have vision, but you have to have clarity. And I say this all the time, sight is perspective. Your vision is purpose. But when you have clarity, that gives you pursuit. You have a mark. You know where you're going. You know where you have to get to. So you have to have clarity. You have to be clear on your goals. How can you sell something when you don't even understand it yourself? How can you get people to buy into what you're doing and what you have if you can't articulate it? So people ask me all the time, and this is a good segue here. Who are you? What are you doing? What is Holistic Women? So my name is Sharita Burnett. I am the founder of Holistic Women. Holistic Women is a women's organization that was created to empower, encourage, and equip women to live out their purpose in order to become whole. The purpose you is the whole you. The whole you is the you that is conquering. The whole you is the you that has overwhelming victory in every stage and area of their lives. So before I can get on big stages, I got to make sure, okay, am I whole? Y'all know the saying, even a broken clock is right at least 2 times a day. At the end of the day, it still has no value because it's broken. So as a woman, sorry fellas, y'all just got to indulge us for a minute. But as a woman, it's important to understand that you can't pour and you can't give out from a broken place. Because what we want to give people is value. When people experience you, what do they get? Do they get brokenness? When people experience you, what do they get? And that's important for you to even take into your business. When I'm out here advertising and I'm networking and I'm doing this, what are people receiving from me? Your business should be an answer to the question they didn't even know they had. So that's what we need to do. That's why clarity is important. That's why confidence is important. You got to walk into every room like you own it. I don't care if you're a guest. I don't care what your role is. You're in the room, then something should happen. That's the type of confidence you have to have. So you got to make sure you have your confidence. You have to have clarity. You have to have consistency. It's so easy to be distracted and to get disappointed sometimes by what we see naturally that we forget that we can be right at the precipice of a thing and we'll turn around and walk away not realizing the greater is right there. All you needed was one more step. All you had to do, a fresh wind was coming. Let me say, I'm a woman of faith, and I believe that you can be right at the mountaintop. But the fact that we move because of what we see, we don't even understand the wind that God was sending to push you into your next plan and purpose. Remain consistent. Keep posting. Keep having events. Keep bragging about your business. I seen a meme that said, let me tell you something, don't be afraid to promote your business because Fashion Nova done text some of us 13 times in one day. So, don't be, okay? I get about 25 shitty notifications in an hour, okay? So don't be afraid to promote your business. People are watching. The right person at the right time will make all the difference. Remain consistent. I know some of us will ghost Instagram for a while, but then it's like, people, they don't trust you. They don't trust that you're going to show up. So why would they buy into something where they don't even feel like, oh, they don't care about it, so why should I? Your consistency will allow you to see longevity over time. And then the last thing you have to do is have community. Communities like this is so important. Iron sharpens iron. You can't do this in a silo. You can't do it reclusively. Relationships are important. Networking is important. Getting in the right rooms is important. Investments are important. So you want to have a community of people that are there that can push you and propel you into your next level of your purpose. That way you can begin to win. You can begin to conquer. You can begin to have the overwhelming victory in every area and stage in your life. So the 4 strategies you need, if you don't remember nothing else, in order for you to conquer, you got to have confidence. You have to have clarity. You have to be consistent. And you have to get into communities like this. Get around people who make you smarter. Get around people that challenge you. Get around people that make you question the validity of what you're offering. Get around people that give you the strength to conquer. When you're building something, you can't be around people who are slaying the bricks. People who are, while you're building, they're steady taking. And you're wondering why you're not elevating because the weight that's beneath you, they're taking it away from you. Get around people that's going to take a brick and help you build it.
Come on.
And like you said earlier, you said maybe it's not family, but you can find communities of people who will invest. You can find people who, but my thing is you have to believe in it first. So you have to believe in it first, and the more you believe, the clearer you are, the more confident you are, then you'll have people that come and say, I gotta be a part of that. I gotta be a part of this. And that's a testimony that I have. I looked up and I got a team of 8 women, and I'm like, where y'all come from? And let me tell you something, you would think Holistic Women was theirs before you even, if my picture wasn't there, let me tell y'all something, you would think it was theirs, because that's how much they ride for it. That's how much they love it. That's how much they are so bought into it. When you understand what you have and the blessing that God has given to you and the vision that you have, people will invest in your seed. And then everybody will have fruit. So as you become whole, as we become women who are healing and overcoming life experiences, we have to understand that we will conquer this year. If you say, you know what, this is my year to conquer, say, I'm going to conquer more in 2024. I'm going to conquer more in 2024. Let's go. So I do want to let you know, listen, if you say, I'm conquering this year, we have a devotional journal that'll help you get started along the way. It takes 21 days to make or break a habit. So we have a journal that's filled with 21 days of just devotions that help pour into your mind, your body, your spirit. There are exercises at the end of each day to help work your body physically. We also have scriptures in there, journal prompts so you can take time to write your journals. And then it's also a link for you to join our women's community. So if you want to be a part of a community of women, this is not no clique, this is not no, no gossip group. These are women who have grace and who have purpose. So they will help push you. We exercise together. We have different events. So get plugged in, get involved. And if you have any more questions, you can come see myself and Deja over here at our table, and we'll be happy to talk to you guys about it, okay? Thank you so much for having me. You're welcome.
Thank you. I don't know if you guys can hear me. It's on. Turn on. Thank you so much, Pastor Sharita Burnett. That was amazing. Sharita, I'm sorry. That was amazing.
Thank you.
I definitely see how we could use those 4 strategies: confidence, clarity, consistency, and community, which are 4 things I hope I have and strive for as well. Next we have Pastor Harold G. Burnett.
Everybody good? I am excited to be here, hang out. Again, thank y'all for the invitation. And I don't come out to Reedsville much, so this was a good opportunity to come out and hang out in Reedsville. My assignment is simple: to talk to y'all about grant writing. I heard a couple things about grant writing being hard. I'm going to simplify this for you. A little bit about myself. I have been in the grant writing industry now since 2014. Okay, I started writing grants for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Delaware and would secure $100,000 grants for them on an annual basis, right? The Boys and Girls Club is a very, very large organization and really requires private funding or public funding at times to secure what they need to do. And sometimes the misconception is around grant writing is that free money is reserved for big fish. That's not true. Okay, I also pastor a local church in Greensboro, and the only way that we survived when we first started out was by grant dollars. North Carolina, not sure if you know this, is one of the top states in this country that offers free money to small businesses. I want to talk to you about it. Okay, so first thing you need to know is the importance of grant writing. Three things here, and I don't got a lot of time, so I gotta move fast. Okay, one, you wanna validate the unique need of your project. If you're a for-profit business, there are grants for for-profit businesses, but that's like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Okay, 9 times out of 10, you're getting grant money for community-based initiatives, right? Educational projects, community-based services, community-based organizations. That's 9 times out of 10 where your free money is coming to. So you want to be able to validate the unique need of your project. You want to be able to articulate your goals persuasively, and you've got to explain the need financially. That's huge. So you can have a $1 million idea where you want to end homelessness in Reedsville, right? But if you can't make that sense financially, if you cannot make it make sense financially, I don't care how big the vision is, how big the purpose is, you ain't getting no money. I know it's not grammatically correct, but you understand what I'm saying? You ain't getting no money. Okay, so I want to talk to you about this. 5 major components that you have to have when you are writing a grant. Number 1, you need a detailed proposal. Number 2, you need project goals. Number 3, you need project outcomes. Number 4, you've got to have really good documentation. Number 5, you've got to have a budget. Okay, you need a detailed proposal, you got to have project goals, project outcomes, documentation, and you've got to have a budget. Okay, so you got to understand, there's an art to this. It's not like, you can go home and open up the notebook and start journaling. That's not how grant writing works. Okay, you've got to be able to write specifically to the people whose money you're asking for. Right? So if that person loves red dogs, then you need to write about red dogs. I don't care if you don't like red dogs. They do. So you've got to customize your writing to accommodate who you're appeasing to, who you're writing to. So number 1, there's got to be purpose to this. You've got to make sure that you're writing for a wide range of purposes, right? Entertainment, education, personal expression, all of that stuff is important. So let me give you an example of that. So when you're writing your grant, are you telling personal stories of the difference that what you're doing is making and whoever's life is making a difference in? And it don't got to make a difference to a lot of people. It's only got to make a difference to one. That's the other big misconception, that you feel like you got to be like doing this massive, impactful, global work. No, like my church right now in Greensboro, we probably see on average now 75 to 100 people. We've been doing this for 2 years. We start like that. We started with 6 people in my house, right? With a mission that said we wanted to intentionally serve Christ in the community at the same time. And we wanted to make a difference in the educational system in Greensboro. So we had a goal to open up a student resource center in one school and serve 5 students. I needed $10,000 to do that. And so we found a grant to give us $10,000 to service 5 students in one school. Okay? So you begin to just tell the stories of the work that you're doing, the difference that it's making in the people that you're serving. Does that make sense? Okay. So grant writing specifically aims to persuade funders to invest in a particular project, showcasing its importance and its impact. I will highlight those words. Write them down. Importance and impact. You've got to highlight the importance and the impact. Okay, when you're talking about audience, typically when you're writing, right, your audience can be wide range. It can include a ton of folks, right? But when you're talking about grant writing, you've got to write to a specific target. Okay, so before you write that grant, you should probably do some homework. Where is that grant? Where is the funder based? What projects have they funded in the past? Have they ever funded anyone in your area before? If so, how much did they give them and how long ago? If not, that may be a unique opportunity to bring grant dollars into the community. Reedsville, how many people from this area? Nobody. Most people are from where? Greensboro? Okay, so Raleigh, right? So, Rockingham. Okay, so Greensboro, even though major city compared to North Carolina, is smaller than Raleigh and Charlotte, on the grand scheme of things, Greensboro is a very, very small community. Okay, compared to like some of the big metropolitan areas like Philadelphia, Atlanta, DC, Baltimore, LA. Right, so to have a funder go, hey, I'm serving a urban community in Greensboro, very small mid-market population. Here's an opportunity for us to do some really important and impactful work. Boom. Okay? Here we go. 10 words you should never use. 10 words you should never use when you're writing a grant. I got to move fast, so write this down. I only got 30 minutes, and I think I've already used 15. Here we go. Try. Don't use that word. Okay, you want to replace that with something that's more definitive. Don't use the word hope. Well, we hope to do this. I hope to do that. That's a no-go. Okay, don't use the word maybe. Be more specific about your outcomes. Wish, need, unsure, hopefully, just, basically. Words that you should never, can I just give y'all a secret? It's this thing out there now called ChatGPT.
Yes. Okay. Period.
Time to write
Okay.
It's time to period.
Like, legit, I'm giving y'all a secret. Like, legit, all you do is just go to ChatGPT and say, write me a detailed outcome for this grant with these outcomes. And see what happens. See what happens. This young gentleman was talking about like we're in the world of AI now. That most of the technology would do the hard work for you. But there is a thing where you can bite off more than you can chew and present a perspective that's not real. Because ChatGPT will write it for you, but you still got to have the evidence for it and the outcomes of it. Right? So you can put this elaborate grant proposal together and you can get funding, but I see a lot of people make this mistake. They get the money and then don't know what to do with it and mismanage it, and then you mess it up for everybody. It takes one organization to mismanage funding, and guess what? Most of the nonprofits in this area won't receive funding. Okay, so I want to give you some tips on how to craft a persuasive proposal, and then I'm out your hair. Number one, you've got to understand your audience. Do the research. Okay, don't be lazy. Well, this is hard. Well, if it was easy, everybody would do it. If it was easy, everybody would do it. It's free money. You're going to have to work for it. This ain't the lottery. You know what I mean? Like, if someone has money and they're willing to give it to you with no interest, don't worry about paying me back. At the very least we could do is the work that's needed to be done so that we can get it.
That's right.
That makes sense?
Yes.
Okay. So number one, do the research. Understand the needs, the priorities, and the values of your funder. Number two, tailor your proposal to align with their expectations. So that's a question that you can ask a funder. What's your expectation if you give me this money? And then you write your grant based on their expectations. Does that make sense? Number two, you need to define your problem clearly. Clearly articulate the problem or the need of the project. Provide evidence, statistics, real-life examples to highlight the urgency and the significance of the issue. So what I mean by that is, when we found out that, what's the first school we did? Harrison Middle School was the first school. When we did Harrison Middle School in Greece, some people know about Harrison? Okay. Well, right now we've got 3 actually student resource centers. My goal was to make sure as a pastor that we service all schools within a 5-mile area of our church. Okay. And the way we want to do this, I was opening up what we call intentional student resource centers. Well, what's the problem? Public schools, particularly in the hood, excuse my French, just want to be straight, no chaser. They don't get money.
Right.
And our babies are struggling. Right? And so I didn't want to depend on nobody else to educate and provide resources for my children when I had the means to do it. So what we said we was going to do was, okay, if y'all don't want to put nurses in there, if y'all don't want to put after-school resources in there. If you don't want to provide extracurricular activities, because I still came up in the age when we had after-school programs.
Right.
Somebody say amen. I feel like we in church now. So I said, okay, well, we're going to own this responsibility. So we are going to, school district, thank you for the partnership, but you ain't going to put no money to this. Because I don't want you to tell me how to do what I want to do. So then we're going to raise our own money, and we're going to put these resources in our schools. So our kids have an opportunity to do what God has called them to do. Well, what's the problem? They're underfunded. These resources are not available, and nobody's willing to pay for it. That's the problem. And that's what I'm solving. That's why I need your money.
Right there.
Boom. That's how it works. Okay. The other things that are important here, one, you need to demonstrate expertise and credibility, and I think this is where a lot of people go wrong. I think this is where we mess up because of the AI, the ChatGPT. It creates a false level of expertise. Right? Because once you start writing like that and talking like that, then guess what? You don't put this elaborate proposal together, and then someone's going to come out to see the work that you're doing, because that's a part of it. They're going to ask you for free money 9 times out of 10. Someone's going to do an evaluation. They want to see what you're doing and how you're doing it. And so they're going to come out to see what you're doing and how you're doing it, and they're going to go, hold on now, wait a minute now, this don't align with what you wrote to us. So you got to make sure that what you're doing is credible. You got to make sure that you've got a level of expertise. So if you need to do some training, do some training. Right? If you need to sit down and be mentored by somebody, do what you need to do. Showcase the expertise and experience of your team and your organization. Provide evidence of past success that are relevant to the qualifications. So I tell people, your time costs money, but it really don't cost you to give your time. So if you're really passionate, so I have the privilege of being married to this woman right here. We just don't have the last name. It's not coincidental. Right? She's massively passionate about it. So before she had the financial and just kind of the economic status, right? Like she was giving her time before she was given anything. So if you can't volunteer in your own project, why would you expect somebody else to? Y'all not saying nothing. Y'all not saying nothing. Y'all not saying nothing. Right? You can't expect people to give you their money and you won't even work for what you're asking for. Let me just let that drop a little bit. Okay? So you got to build up the expertise. Okay? You got to provide evidence. You got to say, hey, before anybody gave me any money, I was going into these schools. I was volunteering. I was doing the work. I was making food in my own kitchen and going out and giving it to the homeless. I was bringing kids into my own house and providing mentorship. And all of us do it in some way, shape, or form. We just fail to tell the story of how we've been doing it so that somebody else can help you and fund what you're doing. Does that make sense? Okay. For the sake of time, I'm going to move because I want to get to questions. Project goals. One, you want to clearly state the objective and the goals. Right? You want to provide a detailed plan of action. So you want to define measurable objectives and goals of your project. Right? You want to clearly define those roles, responsibilities, and timelines. Okay, so I want to go back here and then I want to pause. I got 5 minutes left to just take some questions. These go back to the 5 major components of a grant. Okay, where I see a lot of people make mistakes, right, is one on the budgeting, right, and number 2 on the detailed proposal. Most people know what they're trying to achieve and the goals that they want, right? Most people don't know how to articulate it in a very detailed way, and they lack the documentation to prove it. And so as a result, you're doing great work in the community, but no one's going to give you money because you haven't been documenting it properly. And so as a result, then we go, this is hard. No, it's not hard. You just have not been doing the right work. You haven't been doing it the right way. Does this make sense? Okay. Any questions about this before I take my seat?
Yes, so when you say, document properly, what, can you give a few examples?
Yeah, so if you are taking $100 and you're buying school supplies, right, I would document that. I would create an itemized budget of says, here's what I've been doing to service this project. keep the receipts of those things. Then I will put a narrative together every month of the work that you've been, a detailed narrative. Even if you could do it week by week, of just saying, here's the work that I've been doing. It's called scope of work. Here's my scope of work that I've been investing in this project. And you want to create a narrative and you want to tie that to the finances that you've been investing in there, right? Because then when you go to a funder, you can go, hey, for 6 months, I put $1,000 into this project. Right? This is why I need 5,000 from you. The other thing I would give you is like, just, start small. It's okay to start small. Right? If you've never gotten a grant before, 9 times out of 10, no one's giving you a $100,000 grant. Go grab the $1,000 small business grant and go manage that well. And then turn that $1,000 into 5. The 5 will turn into 25. 25 will turn into 50. And then before you know it, right, then you've learned how to manage grants, and then you build relationships with grantors and funders. They trust you on how to spend money, right? And then you can get the big fish. Don't go out there, if you've never done this before, go try to catch a shark. Take that little worm you got, that we got from the dollar store, you know what it is? You know what I mean? When you first started learning how to fish, you had a little hot dog. Put a little hot dog on your reel and catch what you can catch. Tap yourself and tell yourself, catch what you can catch. I gotta get ready for Resurrection Sunday tomorrow. Catch what you can catch. And then once you catch that, any good fisherman will leave a piece of that as bait. Then you attach what you caught to the hook. You throw that out there. The bigger the bait, the bigger the catch. But if you go out there and you try to throw out, you got a little worm, you're trying to catch a shark, you're gonna get disappointed. Because sharks don't eat that. Sharks don't eat that.
I do have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
One of the things that I have seen majority on, especially when I go online, TikTok, other places like that, what makes it hard, I think, and I would like your perspective on it, is that a lot of people will try to take a template and make that one size fits all, and grants don't really work that way.
No, and social media will mess you up. Social media will mess you up, because I've seen these things of like, I've done a grant a day. Ask them to prove it to you. Just ask them to prove it to you how, and I'm not saying that there's no legitimacy in that, but in my expertise in the work that I've done, these things take a lot of work.
Yeah, it ain't gonna happen like that.
It takes a lot of work, okay? So, this idea that there is a cookie cutter approach, now you can take a grant, right, that you say, I secured $1,000 with this, and you go, okay, this is a good framework. I'm going to use this framework. But one grant, we had secured $7,000 for our church in Philadelphia at the time. And all they wanted to know was my personal testimony. That's it. They didn't care about the work we were doing. They didn't care about the impact we were having. They just wanted to know, when did you come to faith, and how long have you been saved, and when did you give your life to Jesus? They just wanted to know all of that. Now, I could have took my little template that I had and used that, and I would miss opportunity. Because I didn't give the funder what they were asking for and meet their expectations. And I think that's what you're speaking to. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
When you say talk about what are you speaking to the criteria for getting the funding?
I'm talking about the funder.
The funder.
Okay, so the funder is the individual who is actually giving you the money. So you need to write your proposal to accommodate them. Does that make sense?
So when you say individual, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you saying individual person or company or the grant they represent?
It could be, that's a good question, because the funder could be a person, the funder could be a foundation, and that foundation can have a governing board, a committee. So these are all questions that you gotta ask.
Right.
Who's reviewing this grant? Right? Is it a group of individuals? Is it one person? Okay, some foundations are run by families. Some of them are run by the government.
So if you're doing like an online grant, how would you figure that out?
I would do my homework. I would call.
Oh, okay.
I would call and just say, what are your requirements? What are your qualifications? Who's reviewing this? Is this a group? Is it a committee? Is it an individual?
What do they represent?
What are their expectations? What are you looking for? You can ask as many, and I think in my experience, the more questions you ask, the better. I don't think any funder is going to be mad at you for asking a bunch of questions, because what it tells them is that you're actually serious about this. Yeah, these are good questions. Yes, ma'am.
What happens when a grant is re-granted to you? So a funder receives some money, the money was left over, you've been doing the work, the funder re-grants it to you, you have a fiscal agent stands in space for that, the fiscal agent receives that. Who's the funder now in that situation?
So re-granting is a little complicated because there's a couple scenarios here. So if you have, let's say you are a mid-sized company and you've got a CFO, okay? And your CFO is representing you as an agent, right? They are an agent of your company, and they secure funding, okay? And let's say the grantor comes back and goes, hey, we actually got, an extra $5,000 that we can give you. There's a couple things that if it's you or somebody else, needs to understand. You got to ask questions like, are you still expecting, you still have the same expectations from the money that you gave us originally? Or is this a separate grant?
So this is a re-grant, this is leftover money from a grant that I don't even think you were supposed to have leftover money, but it was leftover money from a grant. So I'm assuming that we'd be up under the same.
No, never assume.
Never assume.
Never assume.
Well, it was specified that we'd use the money in terms for the program.
Okay,
But
I would just go back to them.
Okay,
I just would go back, whoever gave you the money originally, I would go back to them and say, hey, outline the expectations in writing. Outline the expectations for this additional money that you're giving us.
okay.
Good question. I think I got room for one more question. Go ahead.
Okay, I just have a question. Okay, I know you said when you want to look for a grant, you want to have like detailed information. This is what I did. This is what happened when I did that. Except for it's like you see a need for your community, right? But you never you haven't worked towards it. Would you still try to get a grant, or that's something you would want to try to use your own income to try to? At least
I would make let me get one of those cards. It's a good time to click, 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 click. Click, 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 click. Yeah, right there. Okay, it's a good time to plug this. So I give oversight to this thing called the C3 Circle, and we do exactly what you're talking about right now. Okay, it's a mentoring group of small business owners, ministry leaders, and we do stuff like this. All right, one-on-one sessions on how to help you get started. The big problem that people have is they don't know how to take what's in their head to their hands. Right? That's the big thing. We've all got ideas, we all see it up here, but we struggle with how to take what's in our head to our hands. And so the only reason, outside of the grace and the favor of God, that I'm able to stand right here, is because I had a Nana.
Come on.
Right.
You know what I mean? I had a Nana who helped me navigate this stuff that was up here, and he says, don't you ever just keep vision and dream up here. You got to learn how to move it from your head to your hands. So my grandmother helped me get to college. I went to a historically black college as well. I know y'all was repping all the ones up there. I might as well throw Delaware State out there while we're here. My grandmother hit me to HBCUs. First one in my family to go to college. Okay? But you've got to have, why am I bringing that up? Because mentorship is important. Right? Mentorship is important. So I teach the people, you got to have somebody that's pouring into you, but you also have to pour into somebody. And that's why I founded this network, because I realized there's a lot of us that got good ideas, right? We are visionaries, but we don't have, we don't have an estate that somebody left us. Let's be real. We don't have an estate that somebody left us, right? That got $100,000 in it that we can just kind of do what we want to do and experiment on. No. We building this thing from the ground up. We building this thing from the muscle. So I'm just trying to teach people I'm trying to mentor people on how to do this in a very smart way. Work smarter, not harder. So your question specifically is, my first leg is you got to invest in you first. Right? 9 times out of 10, no one is going to make an investment that you have not made an investment in. So start it. Okay, I do this class on how to get started. Start it, do it. And you don't need a whole bunch of people, you don't need a whole bunch of money, you just got to believe in you. It sounds like you need to be a part of a holistic women's community, I think.
It's a big thing. I'm ready to know.
No, this is what I'm going to tell you to do. My first point of advice is before you leave out here, get up and walk maybe about 20 steps to that toilet. There you go. Yeah. That's a good thing to be a part of. Anything else? My time is up. Again, thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Pastor, for that. Don't forget to your party. Okay, guys, now we're gonna go ahead and have a 10-minute intermission, okay? You guys are welcome to take a seat around, get some water, you know, restroom. View the property as well. We have some beautiful, the Penn State over there. Is that it? Yes, so once again, we're gonna have a 10-minute intermission, so you're welcome to view the property. Just take a look, go outside, the weather's nice out there. All right.
I would love to.
Fill this out for me so I know.
Look at me from my who. Yeah, and then I'll connect you to Dr. House. She gives you oversight to all the I've got to go for
I think by the end of this, I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if in the next 20, 25 years. Well, this generation don't need, like social media influencers, people making their money without college degrees.
And they know with technology that they don't have the need for the work. Only the 35. So it's a pleasure meeting you guys.
It was a pleasure.
Yes. We never chatted, I've never met.
I'm a real.
Realtor in this area?
You put your name and number on this.
I did, yeah, because I was like, trying to, how did you guys,
How you pronounce your first name? It's Kalisha? Kalisha, okay. I got it. So, ironically enough,